Affirmations with Tara. And, today my guest and my sole guest is Jason D. McKean. And he is a reverend and a tarot wizard, and he's a wizard. I mean, we have, long known that Jason is the wizard. So he is the voice of OM Chants. There has been over 1,000,000 OM recordings sold throughout the world. And thank you, Jason, for being on the show.
Thank you,
And
Tara.
always being a great host. And you're a great brother, and you're an amazing person.
Oh, now I'm starting to blush. Thank you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much. Thank you for, providing this this podcast that you do as well to help elevate the vibration, to help the world.
Yeah, it's been nice. I mean, definitely being influencing positive thinking and mind programming, enhancing the mind through hypnosis and MP3s and through our work. And you've continued forward with that too. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny, that term, the wizard, right? Because I've been working with the Japanese community for the last it's been about 3 months now, and culturally, their conception of wizard is something that's dark, something a person who's like, using magical powers to bring about negativity. And so being able to be a part of helping shift that consciousness, it can start small. It can start with just a few people and all, but it can build and build and grow. And it is a privilege to be able to work on in areas like that where it can be seen as because here in America, the UK, it's like Harry Potter and all that. It's like, oh yeah, wizards, they're fun, and like casting magical spells and looking to do the good. And that's what we all can look to do in our lives, is to bring out the positive aspects, to shift minds and all. It's like that from the 80s, right? Like metaphysics, the mainstream look at past life regression and all that, where it's like, oh, that's weird stuff, but the benefits of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was into David Biscott even in the 70s, and, just really people who were that consciousness, I liked it. When we're in consciousness with action, as far as Contact Talk Radio. So the thing is that, I've always strived to have a clear mind. I think that there is no confusion, that we are clear thinking humans if we allow ourselves to be. And so there's no impropriety that I feel that's that interesting in life. I think that if you're destroying your body, or if you're destroying your mind in any way, it shows. And life is short. Why not have some fun by being the best you can be, instead of, all this downtrodden stuff. There's a lot of,
it's funny.
Terrible about things.
When you say that life is short, it's like, if one in conversation just brings up something, oh yeah, I remember, and then it's like, what, that was how many years ago? it's like life is like kind of just zipping by there in times. But when you are in the present, because this work of being conscious and building your consciousness, it is about recognizing the present, knowing that every decision is made in the present, and it has it will have a ripple effect as to how it will the consequences in the future and all, and being able to be cognizant or recognize that, yes, we are spiritual beings, but we're here in this physical realm. And it's like it's like today you wanted to talk about like taking an idea, a conception, an identity of like who it is that you are building from your talents and the skills that you also acquire, and putting that out into the world and being able to sustain yourself, being able to thrive, being able to just look at the ways of monetizing what you do, because that's the system that we live in, and it's how we sustain ourselves. And really, like, it's like you use your own authentic self, but you put it out there, and you are able to maintain your way of being. So what are the first steps to that?
Well, I wrote about it just as far as just a list for the new moon this week. The new moon was at 23 degrees Capricorn. And so Capricorn is always about the construction of our lives, how we are seen in the world. 23 degrees comes up as it's connected to a fixed star called Terra Bellum. And so it's always about seeing, it can be it's a fortunate aspect, but it's also one that has struggled. And so with the conceptual ideas coming at the new moon is the time of darkness. It's all the waters of the world are calm at that time. So that means that we're able to rest and we are able to gain ideas. And so if we I use astrology. So at 23 degrees, it says, okay, well, how do you want to communicate in the world? How do you want to secure yourself? How do you want to be seen? So where's these steps of conception? Well, the steps of conception are the first thoughts that you have as far as what do you want to do with, say, your career. It can be anything that's a step of conception, but let's just say that it's a career choices, and because it's Capricorn. And so you think, well, the first step is the idea, the seed that germinates in your mind. What are you good at? What are you just naturally good at? It could be organizing, can be drawing lines, can be strength. It can be, it can be a physical, it can be an intellectual, it can be an emotional, you can be a good counselor, spiritual. You're a good, you have kind of a concept of where we might be in the universe or what that means. So, because we have to have all things. We don't get out of this life without experiencing it all.
So at this stage of it, is it the sky's the limit type of treatment, as far as you just give yourself like, it's like if I was to make a wish, it's like if I could have my best life, is it kind of like setting the stage on that level, or is it?
It's setting it's setting an idea into your mind, because it hasn't yet reached your voice or reached actions. It's just your thoughts, and being clear with those thoughts. There's a clarity. So where's the clarity? The clarity is the idea, the step of conception. So, so you know what you're good at. Okay, so the list is what is the goal of this idea? So there's an idea. What is it, and where do you want to go with it? Where can it go somewhere? So a lot of people, this is just a good example of they'll and this is dating. Say when you want to be in love. I used to talk to people. Well, I talk to people all the time, but I would talk to somebody at, say, like a party, and they would say, "Oh, I like that girl," and I would say, "Well, aren't you going to ask her out?" And they'd say, "Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to watch her for a minute." And then I realized that in their mind, they dated her, they married her. She had one kid, she had 5 kids. Maybe she, gained weight. Maybe she, there were some flaws that they found in their lives that or she wasn't a good cook, and that, you know, she had 5 kids, maybe she had 10 kids. You know, I mean, there was this whole thing, and then there's a burden on them, but they lived the whole life in 5 minutes instead of actually doing it. You know, they didn't go into any sort of action when they're attracted. And I thought it was interesting. So, you know, I've like talked to a lot of people over the years, and I watched this and then just said things like, well, if you want a real life, you have to actually, you know, walk into one.
So people will fantasize, they'll like project forward, and then they will talk themselves out of, you know, because it's like, you know, done, already experienced it with that person, on to the next.
Right. So that's why I made this list, so that so it wasn't just a concept about, you know, it's not necessarily a person on this list. It's more of a, you know, a health or a career move. But the thing is can this idea, you know, make you money? This, say, if it's a career move. So, you know, so it becomes something where you're not just out there fantasizing about it and it's already lived its life, because all projects, all services must be put into action. So, okay, so where could I make money with it? You know, do I need training? Do I need, you know, marketing? Do I need, well, you know, the internet? Would I have a chance? You know, what am I good at it? You know, what am I naturally good at? You know, we see people walk into things and they walk in, they're going to take over the market, and they do really well, but they just don't have, you know, they don't have it. They don't keep going with it, or they decide to go to something else, you know, because you have to make sure that you have a real job to pay the bills until you make it with the other business, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that consistency that, you know, people will, and, you know, some people are just wired to have like a lot of enthusiasm at the onset, and yet just the day-to-day mechanics of, you know, keeping that momentum going, and, you know, projecting that, you know, you're the best keeper of your own vision. It's like, you know, you can't just start something and expect it to, in I was going to say infect, maybe not the best word to use as far as like, at this time, but where our enthusiasm is infectious.
Well, yeah.
Right.
How about assertiveness, or, you know, some other word, really?
Yeah. You know, where other people go, oh yeah, this is great. And it builds, right? It builds, takes a life of its own.
Right.
And, that is, you know, just to keep at it, to keep at something, that's that's a real skill set right there. It's, usually called discipline. You know.
Yeah, it's called discipline. Well, and it's called maybe a calling. You know, like I would say that I definitely had a calling. You had a calling, but, you know, I was able to coax you out years ago to, you know, be in front of a camera instead of behind a camera, or in, you know, in front of the recording instead of back behind the recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the quintessential artist. I mean, just such an artist. And you know, you were that when you were a kid. But for me, I believe that I was always just completely shoved into my destiny from very early. But I didn't really want to be, you know, I didn't want to be, but I was.
Yeah. Reluctancy.
Yeah, there was a reluctance. Well, there was only just a reluctance because, you know, I had a hard time like promoting myself or talking about myself. I still really don't talk about myself with my clients. You know, it's really all about them. But it's, you know, the few that I know personally, but.
You know, but that's actually a really great, you know, part of this equation too, as far as, you know, because it is essential to be able to put forth in a confident manner, what it is that you're providing for people, whether it is a service or a product. And years ago, one of my great friends, Mari, she was telling me that there's a difference between a hard sell and a heart sell.
Yes.
And the hard sell can be, like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread and all that. And you're like just touting all the benefits. And, or, I'm the greatest, tarot reader ever. It's like these are things that are hard sell, as opposed to a heart sell, where it's like you're able to express your desire in the work, your enthusiasm in the work. And where you're looking to connect with people on a heart level, rather than trying to convince them on a mental level, and where you're authentic. It's like it's something that is easier for, again, like and it may be just the nature of anyone who's like in a healing type of work, where that sensitivity, it's like you want to be the essence of that that realm, that healing realm.
When the shamanic level comes in, we all give in some degree in this kind of work, but and it could be considered fantastical, that's on the list too, or practical. And where is that line drawn? To whereas, I've always done this work because I think it's fun. But I have a passion for it. Not everybody's into it. And I don't expect everybody to be into it. I mean, I've been obsessed with books and learning, and I like let the world kind of go past me in a lot of different ways, because I didn't know much about like music or fashion or those sort of things. I was more interested in nutrition and the occult, and divination, psychic divination. Whereas, where are we psychic and where are we not? And where does our mind like improve? And can we improve our mind in this life?
Yeah.
Been so fascinated by it.
Well, again, looking at that level of where you're passionate towards something, and you're looking to like kind of harness that passion in a way, so that you can draw upon it at any time of day. If you're, again, like if you're a great artist, right, it's like sometimes if you're just doing it for yourself, you can wait for the muse to hit. But when you're monetizing it, when you're working for others, when you have clients that come and say, hey, I need this by Friday, it's like, I need to just be inspired. I can't just do it by Friday. I need to be in the right mood to do this. Right. I mean, that's something that you start to learn to harness in your gifts a little bit, so that you can produce again, to sustain yourself in the world, and to meet deadlines, and get things cooking. I that was like my greatest training, I think, as a young man, because I was like the artist who was like, on my own schedule and all. But when I started doing production art, man, it's like you really like harness in the effort, and there's like that eternal clock, that is just like tick 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 tick, time's passing. It's like, okay, that's done, okay, that's done, okay, that's done, and you just like get everything done by clockwork. But it doesn't diminish at all your ability to do what you love. It just like puts it more into the pressure cooker. And it's like successful people who are able to sustain themselves with their gift. It's like they're very cognizant of that. They know that time is a commodity, and that you're looking to get things done in a certain time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I mean, the clock is, you know, we live on linear time, which is just so odd, because I know, you know, past our, you know, past our ozone layer, I don't think it's, after that, it's not linear time anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, like in the physical realm, because we're both spiritual and physical beings,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's just one of the things that is what we're working with. One of the laws, you know, it's like we get hungry, you know, because time passes and it's like we need to rest, you know, we need to be energized, and coming to terms with that, and again, like mixing your passions and your skills, right, so that you're you know, feeling fulfilled in life. And you know, that to me is the essence of it anyway, is that, you know, you attach your purpose to what it is that you do in life, and you know, that's fuel. You know, that's not where you wake up and go, oh God, another day at the office.
No, because I mean, it's a, yeah, you have to wake up and say it's a good day, no matter if it's not really exactly a good day at that moment, but look forward to something. You know, a lot of people look forward to coffee, but you could be looking forward to, you know, putting on a you know, teal shirt. You know, you can like the color. You could do anything that you want.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes again, looking at kind of the idea, you know, the starting point, sometimes the strength is liking to work with people. Sometimes it's where you just like working on your own, and you know, checking that off as one of the strengths, one of the things to look
Right.
to do.
Mhm. Right. Because, you know, some people may not like their job per se, but, you know, they'll say things like, oh, I only like a couple people in my life. Or, you know, I mean, and so therefore, you know, you have a steady something to do, because, you know, you don't really want to interact with the world. You know, there's a lot of, even if you're interacting with the world, you don't necessarily have to interact with the world. You know, even if you're a store clerk, you don't really interact with everybody, but you can at least see, you know, you're seeing people,
Right. Right.
and it makes it more enjoyable if you actually have some humanity or humility within you, some compassion of what others are going through. I mean, because then, you know, you're just upping your life, you're upping the quality of your life.
You're upping the vibration
Yeah.
that you send out into the world too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you know, when you do that, that also, it ripples back to you as well.
Right.
So this idea of monetizing, you know, what it is, because that's the same aspect of being able to talk about and to advertise, you know, what it is that you do, and
Mhm.
it's giving value to what it is that you do.
Right. And giving value. So, and that's the really key, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
even if it's the simplest thing, it's how are you giving value? You know, it could be that you're just being nice to coworkers, could be that you're being nice to your kids, it could be that you're being nice to the mailman. I mean, you know, grocery store clerk, you don't know how you're affecting people, other than if you might be the bright spot of their day. You know, I mean, how many people do you see? You don't care what their life is like. You don't care about anything other than how they treat you. You know, just a nice nicety. How are you today? Or, you know, hi, it's good to see you. Thanks for shopping here. Whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny is that we have the benefit of being able to read people's energy,
Oh yeah.
you know, to see the sincerity level.
Sincerity meter. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like going, yes, they're sincere, or it's just like, it's like, No, I call BS on you, clerk. You're not really happy to see me.
For me, I usually don't push people down. For me, what if I feel that someone's in trouble, I usually say a silent prayer right there. You know, that I send sentinels for this person, that they will find, they will find joy, or that they will come out of whatever it is that's really troubling them. Because people who are troubled, they wear trouble usually. I mean, just even if they don't even say anything, it doesn't matter. If I feel that they're in trouble, then yeah.
You have someone there at your feet?
Yeah, a ghost. I always help people in trouble. Thank you, Gracie. Yeah, you can see his notes.
Yeah. So one thing that, when someone is breaking into a field, when they're starting out, there is probably like a natural inclination, to
Mhm.
like do things just to build confidence, to create awareness. Um, in the realm of the psychic readings and reading tarot, it's like, um, there's a lot of like free readings, just, within your like family and then friends, and then, where it extends out to, these other social circles.
Mhm.
And, I look at my journey, and, it's like I put myself in a lot of different types of situations where it wasn't just one social group, or um just one economic group. Even it was just all over the spectrum. And what that showed me was that everyone is the same. At their core, everyone has like a desire to know about relationships, about their finances, about their life path, to know that they're on the right path, that they're aligned with it. And and so, that can, you know pretty much, put me in any place where I'm in that, I guess, confidence of knowing that, people are people everywhere. That's like, um, a thing. But when someone is starting out, when someone is just starting out in their field, they may not know all of these just details of their work. And so, so they may, you know put a they may undervalue, I guess, their own services, their own uh, product, just so that they can get it out there, just so that people can have it. It's like the free samples, right? That people will send out, because it's like they just want people to be aware of it and to be able to talk about it, and send it out.
Yeah, I mean, the thing too is that, well, reiterate on that.
Well, at the onset, right? Just
Hmm.
so that things are out there. It's like the musician who creates an album, right? And it's like, hey, buy my album for, $20, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, what is it? I've never heard it. I don't know you. And it's like, you're just gonna have to trust it. Just buy it, as opposed to, like, just like either playing a song or putting up one song on YouTube, or, where there is, something that people, there's like a no risk, like, oh, okay, I'll check this out. And then if they like it, it's like, oh, okay, you know, and where there is just that incentive at the onset for someone um, to to either buy something or to hire you.
Right. Right. I mean, for me, I have a lot of people who pay me even if they know me, because and I think I learned this too with because we always had Jimmy in our life. Jimmy is a great friend of Jason's and mine, and we've known him for 30 something years now. And he he's a photographer, and not just a photographer. I mean, he's a fantastic photographer. And so it would have just been easier, and back in the day, just hiring him to take pictures, because a lot of times I didn't have a lot of professional pictures taken, because we had Jimmy, and I thought, oh, he'll just do some here or there, instead of it's his business. So it was just easier to click in and do the business. And I've noticed that really this generation of kids, really, I mean, they all pay me, who are my friends' kids and stuff, because they really want that. They want to go forward, they want to progress, they want my expertise. So they pay for it, and they ask for it, and then go. So I've probably gone past the stage years and years ago, because I did a lot of palmistry.
Oh, of course. I mean, you've been doing this for many, many, many years,
yeah.
but anyone who's just starting out, right, who isn't known.
Oh yeah. No, you have to like dip your foot in the water for sure. And even still, people will not know what I do for a long time. But once they do, they're on it. But yeah. Then they want to ask me a million questions. But until that time, usually, I've noticed it. It's been pretty funny over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I just don't give that much away, because I just figure when someone's ready, they're ready. And and I do such fun work when I am doing big projects with people. Like I had that my one beautiful client who had the kidney transplant last year. It was it's a couple of years we're working together. So I a lot of success stuff where I'm working for years with somebody. That's always fun. Yeah.
Yes, if you're established as you are,
yes,
it's like that's it, right? I mean, there's I was just saying, anyone who is who's starting out,
yeah,
who's starting out, who's building an awareness.
Yeah.
I feel that going from that inner world of where you hear the calling to be a certain person in the world, where you're utilizing your gifts and all. You can wrestle with all of that inside, but when you're ready to come out, right, it's like giving voice to it in a confident manner, so that that you may not have a lot of the worldly experience that's associated with that identity.
Yes.
But you can like give voice to your desire to be that person, without touting necessarily the accomplishments that haven't come yet, but you can give energy to that authenticity within you, and proceed from there. And that's again, like part of that heart cell that one can provide, that one can put forward. And then it's like the monetarily, it's like you may again just to get it out there, where it's like you do your little readings, or not readings. I'm like thinking in terms of myself. You do your services, right? And your rates may be this, but once you start getting more acclaim, more notice, more consistency, then you keep raising, you keep on the rise of it. And that's again that consistency that you're going to keep with it when you see progress. If your vision of yourself isn't up to snuff, if it isn't getting the results, then either you need to rethink it, retweak it, or mostly that is to say, oh, okay, this isn't quite working out as I had envisioned it, had planned. So I need to either approach it differently or, pull back. But that's what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, no, I think that it's just beginning for sure, and going forward, and it can be anything, being an architect to just having a physical job, being in construction. I mean, as long as you're, learning, putting forth the effort on, accomplishing, I think that, there's a lot of honor with accomplishing, with actually getting up and going to a job, no matter what kind of a job it is. It's a good honor. It's a great accomplishment, really, in the world. To not be afraid of the world. There's been so much fear this last year. I mean, it's like, come on, we have to get out of that fear zone. A fear zone is definitely hypnosis. Don't be in the fear zone at all. Yeah.
Do you have any good programs for kind of putting people into a zone that they're able to kind of bust out of themselves a little bit, get out of that fear zone?
Well, I think any hypnosis that gets you out of the fear zone, because you're gonna switch your mind into thinking about something else or doing something else. And I use it all the time. I decided to not be somebody who did things and didn't practice what I preach. So I listen to a lot of mind programming to make sure that my, body is working perfectly, and that I'm progressing forward easily in life. And so, so I started listening to all the MP3s that I made that are Jason's. He has a whole big OM collection. So it's a lovely collection, Jason, your MP3s. And then I have an eye hypnotherapy app, but it's only on Apple right now. I don't have it on Android, and which has to change soon. And the thing is that it is me and Steve G. Jones, and Jason could be on there, but Jason hasn't submitted all his stuff there yet. Yeah, but Steve G. Jones is huge in the world. He has way over 9,000 titles. And so, if you don't find it within mine or Jason's.
Wait a sec, 9,000 titles?
Yeah.
Are there 9,000 activities in the world?
Well, he probably does it in different ways. He's prolific. Yeah. Our prolific friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones. I like to call him Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Because it's so like Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. He likes that.
So the thing is that if you can't, we try to do it across the gamut to be able to find it. Yeah.
When I'm doing readings and people are looking at activating a new sense of themselves, a new identity out in the world, it's like, we look to see how they're blocking themselves. If it's in a mental place where, they'll, overthink things. So they'll try to come up with a scenario that will, they'll come to a place of fear, and then they'll start to hold themselves back, right? It's almost like the friend that you're talking about, who's creating the relationships in their head before they even just go up and talk to a person, because they're too much in their head about it.
Yeah.
And helping to cultivate awareness so that someone is able to catch themselves when that process is taking place. It's almost like it can be like this automatic default setting that people will go to if they're not aware of it, and they catch themselves and say, you know what, this time is different. I'm not going to just play out a scenario in my head, because it's keeping me from experiencing a real situation.
Sure.
And so, finding these areas where, and it might be where someone isn't, they may have too much fire in them. They're not planning enough. They're not trying to step by step, or create any steps. That it's just like, yeah, I'm going to do this and this is going to be great. And they just have like so much enthusiasm and fire that it just like, one day they wake up and that fire's gone and they haven't done anything with it. And then there's something else that can take its place and say, oh yeah, but this is better. And then, and go through the same process, and just kind of keep burning themselves out, and then burning out their support systems around them, their friends and family and all, who are just going, what now, this? um, so the the process of catching yourself and saying, oh, okay, this is not
viable, and this is not for my
yeah
life.
yeah. And if someone is, again, looking at strengths and weaknesses, and making a checklist. If you're a great starter of something, then that's important. It is important to have an idea and to have that that enthusiasm and kind of the spirit of the thing. Maybe it's to help people in some manner that will come from it. And yet, if you're not the person, it's like either you hire the person who is the one who can manifest it. You build a team, but that's something that people don't do something for free. It's like they need to come in and be.
Well, they have livelihood.
Exactly.
Want to support what they're good at.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so it's like one has to be cognizant that an idea is just an idea, and it doesn't go anywhere unless it's being pushed out into the world, and it's like being maintained, where there's a structure behind it. So however it is that one is either creating that structure on a consistent basis, and also where there's room to grow too, where it doesn't have to just be the same thing each and every day. It's like things can build, and you allow for that that energy of building too, just down the road. It's like again, when I was started reading, it was like kind of friends and family and all, but it just like would keep growing because of opportunities that it's like your circle of influence gets wider and wider, and you have to look at that so that you don't just like stay in that same pool of what would be considered like a marketplace, right? It's like if you're making music and you're just having friends buy it, it's just going to stay in a small place. And you had on your list there about it's either, do you use the word like marketplace, or how do you market like your product or service?
To make money. It says, okay, I'm going to read the list. It says, can this idea make you money? Oh, what is the goal of this idea?
Mm-hmm.
Can this idea make you money? List the ways it can make money. What problem does it solve? Is it practical or fantastical? Is this a product or a service? And who is your potential clients? Meditate and begin. And so the thing is that, and then you get to next steps, because I do, when I'm working with people, when successful people, it's about strengthening themselves and their ideas and the direction that they're going, and to trust their intuition and to see what creates them. And, but it's also to build teams. And so it's not you who, you have to, like you were saying, that you have to sometimes get expert opinions. So you allow someone else to be good at what they do so that they can come together with you, such as your Japanese team. That's a good example for you.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, I could not do the readings without other people.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Or stores, or, you know, different people that we all put in place. You know, I've always had great assistants or people who put things into place. Yeah. Marketers, or, you know, branders, but we do a lot of branding ourselves. You know, that was what we were good at back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
When I,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. And you know, it's not a weakness, you know, if you can't do everything.
No, you just can't do everything well. Has nothing to do with, you know, we only have a 24-hour day, and, you know, you have to have some downtime. You have to eat. You should exercise. And you should have love in your life. So, you know, it's only so much there now to create money.
Yeah. You know, looking at that market place too, as far as, you know, it's important to expand, you know, to not just you know, have I mean, it's important to have like a solid base that you create, but to not just, you know, rely on that base just to you know, so keep, you know, the success going. Um, you know, however it is that you can expand, and sometimes it's like in little ways where it's just like your feelers go out. But again, I think it's important to you know, again, sometimes it's samples, you know, like in uh, corporations and all like that are creating a product. It'll just be like a small part of what it is that they have that they'll send out, just so that it builds an awareness of a product or so in just areas that people haven't been aware. And
Let's go with that for a minute. A product. So
mhm.
when I have people, you know, who come to me who have products, and it's usually the product, you're really excited about the product, or you're really excited about the book, or you're really excited about whatever the project is, you know, TV, anything that it is. You're really excited about the project, but, you know, once it's kind of done, then you feel lost. You know, like, what else am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? What am I, you know, what's happening here? Well, the bottom line is that, you know, you're supposed to get to a place, you know, not to the end of something. You're supposed to still be in the flow in the middle of it, and to keep flowing. So you're working on a, you know, one thing, not 20 things, but one thing to jump for the next, you know, say if it's a product, because you're building something. So you want to keep building. And you don't want to build something that's going to be in, say, a digital something, when you have a, you know, an actual uh, something that's in manifest form. You want to keep with the genre of whatever it is that you have in manifest form, so that you can go on to the next, you know, to the next item. And how useful is it? How is it something that, you know, you feel great about? Or, you know, because a lot of things that are put out into the market, you know, we can see, you know, people just throw things out, you know, because they know how to market things, or they already have a store and they're just throwing it out. But the bottom line is that, you know, quality, you know, gets you quality clients and quality, um, you know, buyers of something. So it's all just being valuable in our own lives, and seeking that value toward others. You know, it can be that, you know, it's as easy as, you know, because a lot of people are looking for their purpose, but your purpose may only be just to live a great life, or live a good life. You know, just stay out of trouble, or, you know, love your families. You needed a rest this life. You didn't need to, you know, be working night and day and, you know, being a cobbler, you know, have to solve, you know, like stuff that you don't think matters. But yet, you know, we all need shoes.
That's true. We, we all need shoes.
We all need shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Us women really love pretty shoes.
No, it's funny because of the, you know, having useful items, and also, you know, items that, you know, have an aesthetic quality to them. Yeah. That, you know, we feel like we're in a place of you know, our time, where it's in fashion, right? And yet, you know, with what's that?
Well, I'm not a big fashionista type person, you know. I had my nose in books, buying books for the store when I owned the store. You know, I wasn't a big fashion person, but I like some style, you know, I have my own style. Yeah. Anyway, hey, Jason, how can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at Jason D. McKean. My website is Jason D. McKean, JASONDMCKEAN.com. And I have lots of classes that I do. Got a soul progressions class tonight, and that's you can see that on Facebook. It's an event, and I'll post it on my page there.
All right. Do you put it up on Instagram too, so that people can find it?
I do. It is on Instagram, and Jason Tarot Wizard is my Instagram handle.
All right. Awesome.
Where can people find you?
I'm at tarainsight.com. It's TARAINSIGHT.com. And I'm on the radio today again for your friend, Tracy Brown. And she wants to talk about pet psychic and psychic pets, I guess.
Fantastic. Is that today or tomorrow?
No, this is today. Oh, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Tomorrow. It's the 16th. And it's 2 p.m. Pacific, but you can find that on my Instagram. She is Tracy Brown Live, TRACEY live.com, I guess.
So as long as I've known you, it's like, yes. And that's my whole life. As far as animals they've gravitated towards you. You have communicated not just to cats and dogs, but to horses and spiders and everything, you know. Yeah. So it's
no spiders in my house. I tell them all they have to live outside.
Well, that's you communicating. It's like that inner you know, that it's just like scaring them away.
All right. Anyway, but thank you for being on the show. I just love hanging out with you. This is our way of hanging out now. And
right. All right. Well, thank you, Tara. Many blessings to you, and much love to everyone.
Okay. Love you, Jason. Love you, everybody. Many blessings.